There was a time when I thought living at home wasn't so bad. Sure, it wasn't what I had envisioned for myself at 23, but it worked. I wasn't just some lazy kid mooching off my mom. I was paying rent, covering her phone bill, and even taking care of the power bill. In exchange, I had my own space, home-cooked meals, and a quiet place to focus on my freelance work. I had even turned my bedroom into a small studio for my content creation gigs, something I had been pouring my heart into, hoping it would take off one day. It wasn't glamorous, but it was my little corner of the world, my own space in a house that I had once called home. But home stopped feeling like home the day my mother made it clear that my needs didn't matter. At first, I understood why Kelly, my mother's best friend, needed a place to stay. She was going through a divorce, and according to my mom, her husband was a complete jerk. I didn't complain when they took the guest room. It was small, but it worked for her and her 2 kids. I assumed it was temporary. I assumed they would be gone in a few weeks. I assumed wrong. One day, I came home to find my bedroom door open. I could hear children laughing inside, and something felt off. My heart pounded as I stepped in. Everything was in chaos. My carefully arranged studio setup, my $3,000 worth of equipment, had been shoved into a corner like it was junk. My desk chair was pushed aside, my bed was buried under toys, and one of the kids was sitting at my computer. I froze. My throat tightened. Then, before I knew it, the words exploded out of me. "What the hell is going on?" My mother strolled in, completely unfazed. "Calm your tits," she said, waving a hand dismissively. "It's not a big deal. The kids needed more space and your room is the biggest. It's only fair." Fair. Fair. The room I was paying rent for? The space I had worked so hard to make my own? "They need to be comfortable," she added, as if my own comfort didn't matter. I tried to explain, tried to make her see reason. My room wasn't just a place to sleep. It was my workspace, my safe haven. I had spent years saving up for my equipment, building my career. But my words didn't seem to matter. "They're just kids," my mother said. "Stop making such a fuss," Kelly chimed in, rolling her eyes. "Maybe if you weren't so stiff, they wouldn't be so curious." I was done. I told Kelly bluntly that her children were not allowed to touch my things. If they did, she would be responsible for anything they broke. She scoffed. My mother called me selfish. And just like that, I was the villain in my own homie. After that, I couldn't be in the house without feeling like a stranger. My mother and Kelly acted like I was the unreasonable one, like I was throwing a tantrum over nothing. I tried to talk to her again. I sat her down, explained how my work depended on my equipment. She shrugged. "You're young. You can adapt." That was the moment it hit me. My mother didn't see me as a person with feelings, boundaries, and a life of my own. To her, I was just a paycheck. I wasn't her son. I was a means to an end. If I was an inconvenience, I could be dismissed. But my money, that she needed. One night I made a final attempt to reason with her. "Mom," I said, forcing my voice to stay calm, "I can't live like this. I'm paying rent, but I don't even have a room anymore. This isn't fair." "We've been through this," she sighed, barely looking up from her phone. "It's temporary. But you didn't ask me. You didn't even consider how I felt." She waved a hand. "You're being dramatic. This is my house. I decide what happens in it." There it was again. Her house, so I made my choice. If this is your house, then I don't need to be here, either. Kelly and the kids move out of my room or I move out of the house. She blinked, surprised. Then she scoffed. "You can't afford to move out." Watch me. I spent the next few days looking for a place to rent. It wasn't easy, but I found a small room in an older building. It wasn't much, but it was mine. The night before I moved out, I sat down with my mom one last time. "I'm leaving tomorrow," I told her. She barely reacted. "You're really doing this? Over nothing?" "It's not nothing. You treated me like I didn't matter. I was paying rent, and you still took my space away." She sighed. You know I need your rent money to keep this house running. I shook my head. You made it clear this was your house, your rules. Well, now it's your responsibility. She glared at me. So you're just going to leave us high and dry? I shrugged. I don't owe you anything. Maybe you should ask Kelly to start paying rent. The next morning, I packed my things with the help of a few friends. Kelly tried to stop me from entering my old room, telling me I had to respect their space. Their space. The room I had paid. For I laughed, shaking my head. Respect goes both ways, Kelly, and no one respected mine. I packed my things in silence. My mom didn't even come to say goodbye. That first night in my new place, I sat on the floor surrounded by boxes, breathing in the quiet. No yelling, no guilt trips, no feeling like I was just tolerated in my own home. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Of course, my mom didn't let it go. She bombarded me with texts, demanding I still pay rent for the rest of the month. Then came the guilt trips. I can't believe you do this to me after everything I've done for you. I ignored them. She even posted about me on Facebook, painting me as the villain who abandoned his family. But I didn't care. Let her play the victim, because I knew the truth. A month later, I had settled into my new home. My work was back. On track, my stress levels had dropped, and for the first time in years, I was truly happy. Yes, I felt guilty sometimes. It hurt to realize that my mother had never really valued me, only what I could provide. But I didn't regret my decision, because sometimes the only way to be respected is to walk away. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.